As prices continue to rise in the PC building space, you may be asking yourself the question, can my old, slow, or poorly rated processor keep up with the graphics card, especially if it's a more high-end graphics card? And in today's video, I wanted to explore that topic a little further for you to help you determine, would you waste your money on a graphics card? Or, are you going to still get a strong performance and then potentially later be able to upgrade that processor or just be happy overall? So you may be wondering what this monstrosity is behind me. Well, this is a pre-built computer right here, and what tends to happen to people when they purchase pre-built computers is they put a lower end or maybe a mid-end processor and pair it with a mid-end or high-end graphics card to make you think you're getting the best deal. And a year ago, before I got into PC building and was familiar with AMD or Ryzen, I purchased the best-selling Amazon PC, which happened to have a 5070, which is a really quality graphics card, but then the processor it came with is actually potentially one of the lowest rated in AMD on all of AM5. It's the Ryzen 7 8700F, so that's the processor that's underneath this cooler, and today we're going to be pairing that processor with this 9070 XT. Well, the reason that this monstrosity here exists is the pre-built did not come with the correct power supply for the 9070 XT, so we are borrowing the power supply from this computer. This 9070 XT requires 3 8-pins. So if you are in the market, you need to make sure a couple things. One, we're going to test, is this processor, the 8700F, going to bottleneck horribly? Now, obviously there will be some bottlenecks, there will be some performance loss here or there, but are you still going to get quite a bit of utilization out of the graphics card? That's mostly the question we're going to be asking. But a couple things we want to pay attention to is, is it going to utilize the graphics card to a place where you'll be happy and satisfied with it? But then also, is your computer set up for this? Because if I didn't have this other power supply on hand, I couldn't even run this card. So when you're looking to purchase a new graphics card, or really anything, you've got to make sure that it integrates well within the system you have, and that you're not going to need to purchase additional equipment, because you might have to factor that into the cost. So today, what I want to do is take and run this PC right here with the 8700F and the 9070 XT through 3 different games. We're going to test everything at 1440p, and we're going to start out on low settings, and then we're going to max them as much as we can, because in theory, this card should be able to handle 4K, so maxed out settings on 1440p should be well within the reason. So we'll see if that 8700F kind of bottlenecks it. So we're going to be running through Arc Raiders, Black Myth, Wukong, and Borderlands 4, all some really demanding games. And before we get into that gameplay, I do want to let you guys know I have created a newsletter that is available for free to you guys that lets you know what content will be coming out in the future, and also just kind of give you ideas of things that happen behind the scenes. So, for example, I scored 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM for $650 with a full PC. I helped this one guy save $150 on a PC build by actually talking him through his Facebook Marketplace profile and the listing itself, and he sold it within 7 hours with my help. So that is a completely free service. Please check it out, consider subscribing. And in addition, I do PC giveaways on this channel locally to my community here where I live, and also to subscribers on the newsletter. So there is a $5 paid version where if you've been subscribed for 3 months biannually, so I think it's June and December is what I've set it up, I give a PC away to those subscribers. So consider that as well, because you're helping support the channel, you're getting a chance to win a PC, and it also helps me give me new tech to review, new things to put together so that I can come out with things for you guys. So let's go ahead and jump into the gameplay and see, does this 8700F actually bottleneck the 9070 XT? All right, so we're in Arc Raiders, and we've got everything set absolutely to the lowest we can on 1440p. So you guys can pay attention up here if you want to the GPU temperature, the utilization, how much VRAM we're going through, the CPU percentage, and then actual RAM and FPS up here. So I'll show you guys real fast. We are on 1440p, quality, everything's on low. Let me make sure that you guys aren't flickering or getting kind of blurry or anything on here. It looks okay, cool. So we're just gonna run around for a minute. This is without any kind of frame generation. So we're sitting at 160 FPS, which is pretty high. Even on low, it still looks pretty solid, I think. The trees, so this has always been a problem. Like if you have everything set to low, the trees don't render in. But graphic wise, really solid. I don't see any issues. I think we're also going to try and run frame gen on and frame gen off just to see if there is a difference there. So let's go ahead and turn on this frame gen on low, and then we'll turn it off and go to the epic settings or cinematic or whatever it is. Wow, 260 FPS. The trees still look like a blob. I don't think that really, in fact, it kind of looks worse with the frame gen on personally, I think. So let's go ahead and turn that off and then go to ultra and see if we notice a massive difference there. So we're gonna turn that off. We are going to go to, we're gonna turn ray tracing all the way up as far as it will go. So this is the ray tracing here. We're gonna turn it to dynamic high. And then we're gonna turn overall quality level to epic. Might take it just a second to get there. Come on. Or cinematic, sorry, cinematic here. So you can see everything's on cinematic. And then let's change the FSR 3 quality to, oh yeah, it is quality, so that's good. Okay. So we put everything as maxed out as it could possibly go. So some things to notice is we're still only hitting 6 gigs of VRAM. That's crazy that that's all this game demands. But we are at 22, holy cow, 22 gigabytes of RAM. We did drop down to 84 FPS, but wow, look at that tree. Now let me make sure you guys can still see things and it's not like getting blurry or, can you see the detail of that tree there? That is insane. Before it looked like a blob, and you guys can see these trees too here. Let me make sure you can, yeah. So like, it's insane how much better this looks. And again, this is with an F tier, one of the lowest rated CPUs on the AM5 platform. People hate this processor. So insane. We're sitting at 84 FPS. Everything still looks very, very high quality. And just for the heck of it, let's go ahead and turn on the frame generation because we did that on the low settings as well. So we're gonna go ahead and put that frame gen on. I'm really curious as to what we end up jumping up to here. 150 FPS, and it still looks... I don't know if you guys can hear that person or not. That person's just singing while running. So I'm extremely impressed here. I haven't tried this combination out yet. Like look at this grass, you guys. This is on the most hated processor of AM5, or at least one of. You guys can potentially see that. Do I need to? No, you can see that really well. Like it looks so good. You can see it moving and shifting in the wind. You can see the tree up here moving. This is extremely impressive. And I haven't noticed any latency or problems or any kind of movement issue. So I'm saying for ARC Raiders, this 100% gets a pass. Let's go ahead and move on to Black Myth Wukong, all right, guys? All right, so now we've got Black Myth Wukong loaded up, and I'll take you guys through the settings here. So we have the super resolution at 75. We might change that to 100. I think that's technically like 1440p. We might change it to 100, which is 4K, but this monitor is not capable of that. Anyway, everything is set to low. So, you know, 170 FPS, there's no frame gen on. The game, holy cow, it looks so good. Like at low, I hope you guys can see that. You can see it. So here is where the limitation of the 8700F did come in, because I wanted you guys to see the beauty of the 9070 XT. When I tried to use OBS to screen capture, and I know I've been given, you know, kind of some flack before about not doing screen capture. When I tried to use OBS to screen capture, it crashed the PC. So I think running at ultra settings and trying to push the 8700F and potentially borrowing a power supply, whatever it might be, it didn't love it. But anyway, that looks, for low settings, that is so high quality. So we're getting 160 FPS. I mean, the game looks so good on low. Like, this is unbelievable. Okay. Cool. Let's go ahead and just bump this up here real fast to ray tracing on. Let's turn ray tracing all the way up and then turn it to cinematic, apply, confirm. Still only 8 gigs of VRAM. I mean, we're using almost 19 gigs of RAM. Our FPS obviously dropped a lot. Wow, this looks so good though. Actually, you know what, you guys? I think it might have looked better on low for Wukong. The rest of the game looks amazing, like the scenery and all that, but I personally no, okay. I might take that back. Let's look up here. No, that's really good. Yeah, hopefully you guys can see that up close. Let me bring you in just a tad bit more so you can see, like, look at the graphic fidelity on that. He looks so clean. Oh, sorry. Let's get you back here. So I am extremely impressed with this. There's absolutely no latency in anything I'm doing at all. The shadows look brilliant. The lighting looks good. You can see everything moving very clearly. And we're still sitting at 70 FPS, and this is with 1440p maxed. Let's go ahead and fight this guy really quick, just to see. Ow. Yeah, I didn't feel anything there. I thought maybe for a second I did. But, and so here's the only thing I dislike about this game is like this fuzzy outline. I don't know if you guys can see that on there. Let me take you in one more time. So you see what I am talking about? Like, it's around the hair here. I wish that, I don't know how to get rid of that or what graphics card it takes, but to like actually get rid of that, if that's just Black Myth Wukong or what. Okay, as I mentioned, I am going to set this all the way up to the super resolution here of 100. Wow, normally it tells me it shouldn't run at that, but so it did drop us down a lot. We are up to almost 9 gigs of VRAM. When they said 8 wouldn't be enough, I mean, this is one of the most demanding games. It's like the benchmark of benchmarks. I don't really know what I should have expected there. I mean, you can see from like the trees and the rocks and all the details that it looks really solid. And, you know, we're still sitting at a comfortable 50 FPS. So I am thoroughly impressed with this 8700F, and also just in general, like, man, he looks so good. Outside of that fuzz, I don't know how to get rid of that, but just in general, like the 9070 XT AMD, if you guys want to contact me and sponsor me and have me review more of your products, I would love to, because this 9070 XT blows me away. Wow, look at this. Look at the lighting and the water here too. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can see that. Look at how clean that is. Man, okay, cool. That feels like a good spot for me. Let's go ahead and jump over to Borderlands 4 now. All right, so now we've got Borderlands 4 loaded up, and you know, as we did before, we're gonna go through the low, then set everything to ultra, and see, like, is there a point where we're really getting bottlenecked or just not utilizing the GPU at all? So even here on low, we're using the GPU at 100%. Oh yeah, here, let me show you guys these settings really quick. So we are on low settings, full resolution, ultra performance. It's on 1440p. You go here, see everything is pretty much all the way low or disabled. Now, if you guys have watched any of the other content I've done like a 1660 Super, a 3050. I'm getting ready to do an Intel Arc card that I'm going to review. A 2080 Ti. Pretty much everything else on low looked really bad, especially in Borderlands 4. But as you just saw in Black Myth Wukong, that still looked extremely solid. And this still, even on low right now, looks really good. So we're using 7 gigs of RAM, 15 gigs of 7 gigs of VRAM, sorry, 15 gigs of RAM. You know, the GPU is, again, all the way up at the top. It's being cooled just fine. No latency or anything on this end. I think, am I about to die? Those things are relatively strong. let's go ahead and use the sniper rifle here. Whoa, that was pretty cool. Okay, they're running. So that seems like a relatively good understanding. Let's go ahead and just get in here, get in a little bit of this fight. And maybe you guys can pay attention to the FPS, the VRAM, all that kind of stuff. What is that? Wow, those things are really strong, aren't they? I might have to hide. Can I go up here? There we go, that's good cover. All right, so it does look a little blobbish there. Maybe you guys can see that. Yeah, up close it does look a little worse here, but you know, nothing is bad. But let's go ahead and turn this up. So we're gonna go everything to all the way. I'm not gonna say that on the, I don't use bad words, cuss words, so I'm not gonna say that, but you can see it, it's all the way up at the very top. We're gonna go for full resolution, upscaling method disabled. So texture pool all the way to very high. Everything is set to the very highest here that we can. Right? Is there anything I'm missing? Nope. Let's apply that. And I bet, yep. So now the VRAM went up quite a bit. Still using, I think, the same amount of, oh, we have to compile the shaders first. So we're still using the same amount of RAM, but the VRAM jumped up quite a bit. The CPU, I think, is going up, but that's because it's compiling the shaders. So we'll take a look at like the FPS, but realistically, I'm expecting the game to look significantly more, significantly higher quality, but still not losing really much of the performance. We're back. Holy moly, look at that water. Wow. Okay, you can definitely tell the difference here. So I'm getting 50 FPS. They still look kind of blob-like even at ultra up close. So maybe that's just the character design, and that's a Borderlands 4 thing, not a graphics card. But you can see like all the particles and things shooting off of it. Even, do I have something set to where it's like not giving me view distance here? Because everything is all the way up. Oh. Let's go for quality here and just see if that changed it. Some things look amazing, but then when you look kind of further away, you can definitely see the detail. So we're at 100% utilization, 17 gigs of RAM with 10 gigs of VRAM. I imagine once you hit 4K here. Okay, so now that we're a little closer, okay, it definitely is starting to look a lot better up close. And you can see, like, again, all those particles. Wow, these shotguns are so, or these sniper rifles are so strong. Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at them now that we're up here. Oh, yeah. You can see infinitely more detail up close. That looks way better. Oh, hello. I missed. Wow, you guys see that like fire and all the detail in this? I'm not getting any latency. I mean, we're sitting up at 80 FPS, and that's with everything extremely maxed. Is this something? Why is this moving? I don't remember those things kind of doing that before. Where'd it go? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, like, again, if you guys take a look at the detailer, let me make sure you can actually see all that. You guys can see that just fine. It seems pretty solid. I think it's pretty good. All right, I feel like that's a good spot. Let's go ahead and wrap the video up and just kind of discuss overall thoughts and where I would go if I were in a situation similar to this. So I think there are definitely some things that we can take away from this experience. And one of those things is that your CPU doesn't matter as much as it's made out to matter. And the reality is, you know, so we did a mid-tier version of this pairing where we did a 9070 XT with an AM4 5600X. And it still performed really solid. And in fact, I think this AM5 actually performed better. And this particular CPU is hated significantly more. It's, you know, people are told to completely avoid it. And the 5600X was a relatively strong or, good mid-tier option back in the day. So I think this goes to show that maybe the reviews that you guys see sometimes are just not giving thought to where people can be realistically. And it's okay to have a less powerful CPU with a graphics card if your intent is purely for gaming. Now, obviously I mentioned when I tried to screen capture with the 8700F and then maxing out at 1440p on gaming, the computer crashed. It crashed on me and it didn't enjoy that. So obviously there are going to be disadvantages and advantages, but if your entire goal is just gaming and you're not video editing, producing, streaming, recording, anything like that, you can get by with gaming. Now, if you're doing more CPU intense tasks or you need 15 browsers open and Discord and this and that, you're probably going to see a bigger impact in that way. But overall, if all you're trying to do is just game and you're rocking an old i3 or you're rocking an old Ryzen 5 or whatever it is, and you find yourself looking at a 5080 or a 9070 XT or even a 4070 or whatever graphics card it is, and you're on Facebook Marketplace and it looks like a good deal and you're going, man, am I really going to be just so bottlenecked by that? The reality is probably not. Even if you're on like a 7th gen or 6th gen i7, like you're running with an i7 7700K or something older like that, the odds are that even that graphics or even that CPU with this graphics card, it's still going to perform really well. So I do want to encourage you, if you find yourself in that situation, take that leap, and then at some point you can definitely upgrade that processor if you find a really good deal, because graphics cards are really expensive right now. So if you're looking for one, you have the budget, and you run into one that's at a solid price, personally, I would grab it. If you guys have enjoyed this video, I would encourage you to check out some other ones that I've got. In one of the more recent videos I did, I actually surprised my brother with a gaming PC. I had him come over. He's a console player. He reviewed that PC as a console player, and I kind of asked him like, hey, how do you think this performs? What do you think the total price of this is? And then I surprised him by actually giving him the PC because his birthday was like a week and a half before that. I do have a video where I hosted a tournament where a bunch of gamers came out and threw axes at an axe board, and the winner walked away with a gaming PC. So if either of those sounds interesting to you, be sure to like this video so that the algorithm knows that. Subscribe if you're interested, and then go ahead and check out those videos.